We're skipping one player. We're skipping Austin Voth to talk about Mitch Garver. Look, it is absolutely you-know-whatting rain right now in Shelton, Washington, and pretty much everywhere else in Washington, as far as I understand. And I feel like today's the perfect day to talk about Mitch Garver. The perfect day because, yeah. Mitch Garver in 2024 appeared in 114 games for the Seattle Mariners, 430 plate appearances. And what he did in those 430, excuse me, I wish it was only 130 if I'm being honest with you. In those 430 plate appearances was he hit 172, 286, 341. That's an OPS of 627, 15 homers, 51 RBI if you're into that sort of thing. No stolen bases on no attempts. That 627 OPS is an OPS plus of 85. Reminder, OPS plus 100 is average. So he's 15 OPS plus points away from being an average hitter. Yikes. Let's go back to when they signed Mitch Garver. And, you know, I wasn't jumping for joy, but I really liked the signing. It was my favorite move they made in the offseason in process by far, because this guy has a history of hitting. This guy hit 31 homers in 93 games in 2019. This guy had an 875 OPS in 2021. He had an 870 OPS in 2023 with 19 homers and 50 RBI while helping Texas win a world championship. He has a history of being a good hitter, and it meant nothing, because he was dreadful for the Seattle Mariners. There are some positives to take from it. I suppose the biggest positive is that he can't be worse. He can't be. It's not possible to be worse than that. Not from your designated hitter. And that was one of the things I liked. I liked that they decided not to go the Tommy La Stella plan, the AJ Pollock plan. They signed a legitimate designated hitter who ended up becoming their backup catcher. But I like that part of the move. I like that they were adding something that should have been a stabilizing offensive a stabilizing offensive piece. Wow. No idea what word I was trying to say. A presence, maybe? That's what he should have been. He wasn't. And I'll tell you this, it's one of the few moves, and if people want to say, oh, I hated it from the get-go, good for you. Great. I liked it. It's one of the few moves that I personally can not go, they don't know what they're doing. Now, we can talk about only adding Mitch Garver and only adding Jorge Polanco and those guys. But I don't think there was anything wrong with the Mitch Garver signing. I don't think there was anything wrong with it whatsoever. And I saw some signs that suggest that he can be, well, better is such a darning with faint praise to be sure. But I saw enough that I can see the version of Mitch Garver coming back. I'm not betting on it. And those of you who watched my offensive plan know that if I had my way, I'd be trading Mitch Garver. It's not going to happen. They've already basically come out and say they're relying on the Mitches. We talked about one Mitch who stunk. Let's talk about another Mitch who stunk. Let's take a look at his savant stats because they are, boy, they're bad. Boy, oh boy, are they bad. Here's the good. Average exit velocity was above average, 89.9 miles per hour. He barreled the baseball at an above average rate, 8.4%. His chase rate was among the very best in baseball. 1 out of 5. I don't know what the out of came from. 1 out of 5 times he swung at a pitch outside of the strike zone. That's 20%, and that puts him in the 95th percentile of all hitters. And he drew plenty of walks. He was in the 96th percentile of walk rate. Okay? So the approach was good. And when he made contact, occasionally good things happened. But not nearly enough because expected batting average, and guys, expected batting average of 180. That's what happens when you strike out in 30.9% of your plate appearances and you whiff 30.8% of the time. And Expected slugging of 335 is in the bottom 10th percentile. Expected weighted on base average is in the 14th percentile. It was ugly. It was ugly. And I think it's probably an obvious statement that Mitch Garver was just too passive at the plate and put himself in too many two-strike positions. And then when he got his pitch, he didn't drive it. He just didn't drive it. There were some line drives. You know, I kind of forgot before, right? Just literally right now about Mitch Garver's comments about two comments. One of them was that he felt like he was unlucky. I can't agree with that. I can't agree with that. The other stuff we'll talk about at the end of the video because I totally forgot about some stuff and how we all need to be better. Want to take a look at what he did against certain pitches because against four-seam fastballs, Mitch Garver was really good. 546 slugging percentage, a weighted on base average of 378, only with 26% of the time against it. Now, what's interesting is he actually was a little bit lucky against four-seam fastballs. Expected batting average of 219 compared to 241. Expected slugging of 475, 546. Expected weighted on base average, 352 to the 378 we talked about. So he actually had some luck there. Against everything but fastballs and changeups. So let's look at changeups. 47 plate appearance against him. He hit 300, slugged 450, 388 WOBA. Very good. Very, very good. And a little bit lucky there too, because expected slugging of 380 is lower than 450. Expected weighted on base average 339 to 388. Not sure why I turned Southern there for a second. And look, normally you're on one side or the other. We talked about Mitch Garver being Mitch Haniger, knew I was going to do that once, being on the right side of stuff. And he has a history of being really good against fastballs. In 2023, against four-seam fastball, he had a run value of 10, which is excellent. And in 2024, 8. Very, very solid. Against changeups this year, run value of 5. That's pretty solid. Let's talk about Mitch Garver versus sliders and sweepers. This is depressing. 98 plate appearances against sliders. He hit 132. He had a slugging percentage of 209. He struck out 40.8% of the time, and he whiffed on 40.6% of his swings. And it wasn't bad luck. Expected batting average of 146. Expected slugging of 243. Expected weighted on base of 205. He was dreadful. Against sweepers, 32 times. He hit a not-so-nice .069, 172 slugging, weighted on base average of 134. He whiffed 44% of the time. He struck out in 46.9% of his plate appearances. And a 117 expected average, 216 expected slugging. He was dreadful. And he wasn't good against curves either. 071, 166, 143. K'd 50% of the time. Swung and missed 44% of the time. So everything that wasn't straight, Mitch Garver sucked against. Sucked. And hitters knew what to do. Get ahead. Put away. I mean, those are dreadful numbers. Dreadful. And, he's not good against them in his career if you take a look at those by pitch stuff. Like last year against sliders, 235, 300, 397. Not great. Not great at all. Certainly better than he was against them in 2024. Anything bendy, Mitch Garver stunk. And yeah, that's a problem. Because pitchers are going to throw Mitch Garver a lot of bendy stuff. Can he make that adjustment? And we're not talking about a spring chicken here. Mitch Garver is now 33. He'll turn 34 on January 15th. Happy early birthday, buddy. Let's look at the splits. Okay. Against lefties, Mitch Garver was kind of fine. Now, 218 average isn't good, but a 327 on base percentage and 436 slugging percentage. If you told me that Mitch Garver was going to post a 763 OPS, I'd be a little disappointed, but I'll take it. I will take it. That's so much more production that they've gotten from the designated hitter position, really, since Nelson Cruz left. I will take that. I'd hope for more. Now we're talking total OPS, just in case that wasn't obvious. Against right-handed pitching, Mitch Garver was useless. 145, 263, 286. That's a 549 OPS. That is defense first shortstop hitting. And even then you're like, well, we should probably look to upgrade here. A 549 OPS and a batting average of balls in play of 209, which is bad. But he struck out 100 times in 274 plate appearances, or 100 times in 234 at-bats. That's dreadful. That is so freaking bad. And it was even worse against relievers, because against starters, he had an OPS of 572 against righties. So it doesn't give you the exact number here, but against relievers, he just stunk. Against left-handed starters, 188, 311, 396. So he really beat up on left-handed relief. The home-away splits, pretty bad both places. Away, 186, 290, 324. Home, 153, 281, 363. So a little more patience at the plate, and actually a little more pop at home as well. Played less games, but not very much. 53 games, 61 away. First half or second half? You know, if you're thinking, hey, maybe Mitch Garver really turned it on in the second half. Nope. 645 OPS in the first half, 576 in the second half. The monthly splits, there was one good month. Two, but there was only 12 games in September, October, so I'm not counting it. 553 OPS in April, March. Still weird to me that they list April 1st. 617 in May, 534 in July, 483 in August. And didn't play in more than 20 games in any month after June. Didn't play in 20 games in any month after June. Here's the interesting thing, too, because we talk about, hey, Mitch Garver was signed to be the DH and he ended up being the backup catcher, right? And maybe you're thinking, oh, well, when he made the switch to catcher, maybe the offensive numbers got better. And I'm here to tell you that no, they sure as heck did not. In fact, they got worse, because as a DH, he hit 168, 275, 354. That's an OPS plus of 629. Okay. Now, his average goes up slightly as a catcher, and his on-base percentage does actually have a tick up. 171 as a catcher in 86 plate appearances, 2 homers, 7 RBI if you're into that sort of thing. 171, 326, 286. He showed no power whatsoever as a backstop. Now, it's not a huge sample. It's 24 games compared to 83 as a DH. But this idea that it helped him, and I saw a lot of people bring that up. Nope. No. Because while the on-base percentage does go up close to 60 points, it's not nearly good enough to make up for those other numbers. Not even close. He also had a better batting average on balls in play as a catcher, 238 compared to 205 as a DH. Where he batted in the order, it's kind of interesting that he had a little bit of success when they moved into 7th. Now, they hit him in near the top of the order for a while, and they should have. But, boy, he was bad. Batting second, he had a 642 OPS. Batting third, just 5 games, but 398. Batting fourth, it was 738. He got on at a 305 clip and 4 a 433 slugging percentage. Batting fifth, he was absolutely dreadful. 212, 218. That is a 428 OPS, 212 on base percentage. Batting seventh, 266, 379, 481. It's possible he started to feel a little more comfortable lower in the lineup. If you're looking for a silver lining. So let's talk about silver linings because it does look like Mitch Garver's coming back. Those numbers are awful, just dreadful. But your silver linings are he does have a history of success. The approach was still good. Now, the approach was flawed, but he didn't become a hacker. He didn't become a hacker. Thank goodness he didn't, because what are we talking about here if he's a hacker? And maybe those are your only two. Maybe those are your only two. I didn't see anything from Mitch Garver that really said he can be anything more than a platoon bat. But I want it to work. And real quick, let's just talk about the thing that I forgot about. The absolutely disgusting behavior by some Seattle Mariner fans sending the dude death threats. You're not a horrible fan if you send somebody death threats. You're a horrible human being. Never do that. You know better. Nobody subscribed to my channel, I would like to believe, would do something that callous and hateful and just disgusting. It's disgusting behavior. You have the right to boo Mitch Haniger. You have the right to boo Mitch Haniger and Mitch Garver. You have the right to boo. You have the right to go on Blue Sky. Don't go on that other website. You have the right to do all of that and talk about your frustrations. You do not have the right, and you never will, to any human being to wish vile things. So when Mitch Garver's back, yeah, be upset about it if you really, really don't want Mitch Garver to play for your favorite team. But do it with some decency. Okay? I can't imagine any of my subscribers would ever do something like that, but I still think it's worth pointing out. Yeah, Mitch Garver was really bad. By the way, I just saw this. I scrolled down to counts. When he got to an 0-2 count, he was 3 for 47. 1-2 count, 8 for 66. 2-2 count, 141, 151, 338. Oh, just awful. I hope he can be better because the Mariners are going to play him next year. I don't see him just being the backup backstop. Wow, 18 minutes of Mitch Garver talk. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Really appreciate the support. Consider joining my LY enthusiasts. Here's hoping it's better next year. Here's hoping everything's better next year.